Hello everyone. Today I will recap you a movie titled, Believe Me, The Abduction of Lisa McVeigh. The film is based on the story of a real girl, 17-year-old Lisa McVeigh, who works in a 24-hour eatery. That night she wasn't going to return home. Lisa wanted to end her life. Over the past 3 years, she has been raped by her grandmother's lover. She even wrote a suicide note in advance. Lisa McVeigh got on her bike and managed to drive a little before someone's hand pushed her off the bike, and the muzzle of the gun pressed against the temple. She resisted and shouted, and then said, "Do whatever you want, just don't kill me." The man takes her to his house, where he first washes her under the shower, and then rapes her, again and again. When he asked about age, the victim answers that she is 20 years old, which suits the maniac, as he does not consider himself a pedophile. McVeigh's grandmother noticed the loss of her granddaughter and contacted the police, saying that Lisa took an additional shift in the donut and did not return home. A police officer comes to the girl's family to report the situation, to which the mother replies that her daughter has simply walked. The younger sister, who lives with her parents, secretly tells the policeman that something is wrong in this story, since Lisa would not have gone anywhere without telling her. While in captivity, the girl remembers moments from childhood, when adults said that men need to know the approach. Suddenly, she begins to apologize to the maniac for mistreating him in the past, after which the man untied her hands. The film contains interview inserts where the real Lisa McVeigh describes in detail the situation in the kidnapper's car: a green digital clock, a leather steering wheel, a suspiciously soft red mat, words on the Magnum torpedo. A police officer comes to the donut room, where the victim works, to ask the boss about the last change of the girl. He said that Lisa left about 2 and praised her as an excellent employee. However, the boss noticed Lisa's strange mood, while saying goodbye, which is why he thinks that she could have committed suicide. When the maniac saw the teenager's disappearance in the news, he immediately thought about little Lisa, revealing her lies, after which he immediately attacked her. The girl began to deny that the news about her. The victim asks to take her to the toilet and leave her alone. And the maniac agrees to it, after which he leaves the toilet. At this time, the girl removes the bandage and closes the door, inspecting the room and leaving her fingerprints on different surfaces. The man notices that the door is closed and loses his temper, pulling Lisa out of the toilet and threatening to kill again. The girl offered to pour him a glass of water to calm down. While she was pouring water into the glass, through the gap at the bottom of the bandage, she saw the phone next to the sink. After that, when the maniac fell asleep, the victim quietly got out of bed, approached the phone and began dialing the number, during which she was spotted and beaten again. Later at night, Lisa decided to leave another evidence, taking off the invisible hair and throwing it under the bed. Throughout her time in the maniac's house, the girl told the man a fictional story that a sick father was waiting for her at home, whom no one but her can take care of. The next morning, after hearing information on the news that the police were actively engaged in the case of a serial killer, the man quickly grabbed the girl and dragged her into the car, taking her in an unknown direction. During the gas station, when Lisa was left alone in the car, she bit her finger, leaving traces of blood in the front seat of the car. A man dropped her off in an unfamiliar yard, by a big tree. He untied her hands, said to wait 5 minutes without taking off his bandage, and left. The girl heard the sound of a car leaving, tore off her bandage and ran where her eyes were looking. However, the kidnapper noticed the girl running away and turned around, hoping to catch up with her. The girl ran to her house, in panic, telling that she was kidnapped and brutally raped. None of the family members believed it, telling her that she had invented it all. After that, grandmother called Officer Lopez to report that Lisa had returned home, but the officer clarified if she was all right. Grandma replied that the girl came up with a story about the kidnapping, and in fact she's fine. The police officer said that he would come and pick up Lisa to testify because she was a minor. In the morning of the same day, Officer Lopez took the girl to the station to testify. Already in the office from the first minutes, Lisa realized that the police officer did not believe her. He briefly interviewed her and left the office, saying that he would return in a minute. After a while, Officers Rustle and Castle entered the office, starting to ask her about what had happened. The girl began to tell the details of what she could notice while she was in captivity, but the women did not believe her words, arguing that in such a stressful situation it is impossible to remember such small details that Lisa was talking about. Officer Russell turned to Detective Larry Pinkerton, after a briefing about a killer maniac who terrorizes the city to help split Lisa, who closed herself. Entering the girl's office, the detective showed a photo of his daughter, immediately making it clear that he can be trusted, as he is ready to protect Lisa as well as his daughter. Finally, there was a person whom Lisa was able to trust and describe everything in detail. She told about everything, from the car brand to the smallest details of the maniac's face. After that, the detective turned to Officer Russell, telling her that such details were simply impossible to invent. Pinkerton ordered to give out a change of clothes to Lisa, and to take the old one away as evidence. After that, he ordered to contact Lisa's family because it will be necessary to carry out hypnosis, due to the fact that after severe stress, the subconscious can block memories. The detective called Lisa's father to get permission for hypnosis, but his father fiercely abandoned this idea because the girl had to work. After talking to her father, Detective Pinkerton went to Lisa's office, where she was working with the artist to compose a photo robot. The girl told the detective that it was not her own father, after which the man was accused of sexual abuse of the child. Having collected all her personal belongings from home, Lisa came to her grandmother and asked why she hadn't protected her. The woman didn't answer anything, so Lisa just left the house and got into a policeman's car. The detective took Lisa to McKinley Police Sergeant for temporary residence until they find something permanent. While in her new room at night, Lisa heard the familiar sound of the engine. Looking out the window, she noticed her kidnapper and started screaming in panic. Sergeant McKinley ran to her screams. Looking out the window and not finding anything there, McKinley realized that the girl was whined, after which she promised to enroll her with a full-time psychiatrist to help her cope with her problems. The next morning, Lisa told the detective about all the evidences she could leave. While testifying, the girl remembered that she had already seen her kidnapper's car. Larry Pinkerton put forward to his lieutenant the theory that Lisa's kidnapper may be a serial killer they've been looking for so long. However, the lieutenant was skeptical about it, telling the detective that if so, the criminal would definitely find a heat to cut off the ends. Immediately after that, the detective went to Lisa to transport her to a safer place, a boarding school for minors. In the evening of the same day, the detective introduces Lisa to his daughter, after which they go to dinner at the donut room. The detective held a briefing informing his colleagues that they had a suspect in the serial killer case. After that, Pinkerton immediately offering her to recreate the route of that horrible night. At the place of the kidnapping, the girl was confused, but when she got into the car, she was able to recreate their route in detail and narrow the search radius to 3 kilometers. In search of the criminal who attacked Lisa, Detective Wolf came across the suspect's car. Going out to her, Wolf took a photo of the car with the driver's face, arguing that there was a jewelry store robbery in the West. After taking a photo, Detective Wolf reported to the headquarters about the discovery of the suspect within the radius of their search. At the police station, Lisa immediately identified her kidnapper among other men from the photo. In the evening of the same day, a police squad detained a serial killer named Bobby Joe Long. In the apartment and car of the criminal, the police found all the evidence previously told by the victim. Already at the station during the interrogation, Bobby Joe Long shared that the police caught him only because he let Lisa go, adding that she was different from the rest of the girls he kidnapped. After interrogation of the criminal, Detective Pinkerton pleased Lisa by catching her kidnapper, adding that she had saved a lot of lives. Passing through the police station, all police officers applauded Lisa standing, as a sign of gratitude for her heroism. The story ended with Lisa being taken away by her uncle and aunt, promising to take care of her. The girl was glad to meet her beloved relatives and said goodbye to Larry Pinkerton, thanks to him for everything he had done for her. Lisa lived with her uncle and aunt for several more years. Finally, she had a loving family that always supported her. Lisa became a deputy sheriff. Her specialization is sexual crimes and child protection work. She already has an adult daughter and a beloved granddaughter. Lisa is still friends with Larry Pinkerton, who still calls her the main character of his entire career. Bobby Joe Long is on death row.